Hi, Christine with Lone Oak Farm. It is time for a weekly update, so let's take a walk through the garden together. Well, the daffodils are at the end of their blooming period, and the perennials are just looking amazing. They hold the promise of a beautiful blooming year. I have a few here, right up here in the front of the corner that's still blooming, but not too many. There's some out by the wagon that are still blooming a little bit. The peas haven't really kicked in, started blooming, or not blooming, but started growing a whole lot yet. It takes them a couple weeks after transplanting to really get going. But the spinach here, you can see the lines that are through here, down this edge and down this edge. You can really see them now, which that's exciting. I've actually taken a cutting off this little bit of spinach. It's actually just leftover from last year. So I really need to make sure that I do a fall crop this year, because I know it was here through November, and then it even with the bad winter that we had, it got really cold there for a period. Even that, after that, it's still here and coming up, and yeah. But the broccoli is absolutely amazing. I can already see growth on it. There's a board that has to be replaced. All these boards are just they're fence planks. They do the job, but they're not going to last very long. But they're here for now, and we can as we replace them, we'll put better wood in. So yeah, little at a time. But the spinach on this one, there's also spinach on both sides of this one, across along here and here, and then over there. So, and they're coming up. You can really see them. We will flip over to this other side. The potatoes, I've started watering them, but they're not peaking up yet. But the onions, not too bad. This side, the cauliflower and broccoli that I planted on this side was a little bit smaller anyway. So, but they're growing also. And I've seen a few little touches of carrots here and there. And the celery up at the front over here looks really good too. I have some sort of a perennial weed that started coming up on these two beds, the end of these two beds really. And so they're coming up all around the peas really bad. And I'll just weed it tomorrow. It'll just have to be one of those things that I have to really keep up with this year. It's going to bloom. There are little buds coming up. So, clematis. And right here and right here, you can tell from the growth that they just did amazing last year. They're muscadine grapes, and they're not really supposed to be, they're more of a southern, warmer season plant. But I found them in Wichita, and I thought, well, I'll just give them a shot. And actually, you can see right here at the bottom, it is alive. So I don't know how much of the top. I think all of the upper growth is dead, but it's still alive. And all of the roses have been cut off, and they look amazing, and they are coming up so thick that I think it's actually going to end up to be a really good thing. All four of the rose bushes on these four corners, like this one and this one and this one are all climbing miniature roses. And I considered moving these two here. This one is a white one, Tyrell, I believe, and this one is a red and white one, and I can't remember the name. I've got it written down. I'll think of it as soon as I quit, but that's the way it goes. But everything is coming up so thick and lush that I'm not too upset. It'll be okay. I still haven't got my lavender. That's one thing on my list that did not get done, is the lavender did not get trimmed, but pruned, but it will be probably tomorrow night. I can get to that. I guess we can go ahead and walk through here really quick. All the oregano, all the herbs are doing so well. I won't name them all off. I know I did last time, so I'll just walk through. And here's the other thing I haven't got to. It's really not pressing, I guess. I kind of want to wait because I want to transplant it completely. And where I want to transplant it to, it's not going to be easy accessible with a hose. So I just soon do it, transplant it right before we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain. So it'll alleviate that issue. And this is another miniature rose. It was disappointing to see this one. This was one of the favorites. So, but it is just as thick as it can be, so it'll be fine. This was one of the things that we got done. It was the first blackberry bed. I literally just dug everything out that was alive and tilled it all and raked out all the debris and the weeds and everything that I could get and put it all back. And so it looks amazing. And we've actually had a couple of pickings of the asparagus up here. They're a little bit smaller this year, so I won't get nearly as many, but it's okay. I divided everything that I moved, I divided, so I kind of expected it. But this is what I did a weekend. It was really, really worth it. All the bricks are down. All the rocks that lined it had to be pulled up and removed and wheelbarrowed someplace else. And the weeds pulled, and the raspberries actually got same thing as the blackberries. I just yanked them all out. Try to be as careful as possible, and then tilled the bed really good and put them all back. I won't do that again. It just kind of got away from me, and I really didn't have too much of any other choice. So, but it looks, we actually went and bought mulch, and I haven't bought mulch for years, but we went and bought mulch, and I won't even tell you how much we spent on mulch for these two beds, but it was worth it, I guess. It was, I'll say. They look amazing. They're all starting to come out. I will cut off the tops when the bottom growth really gets going. I just left them so they would have something to kind of stabilize. But I got when I ordered my 3 David Austin roses that I ordered this year, one of them was only available in a bare root, and this is the bare root that I got. And Tess of the I'm not sure I can pronounce it, so I won't even try to butcher it, but I believe that's what this one is. There's 3 of them, and it's a red one, I know that, but there's 2 red ones that I bought. So it's a climber. I will have to, if I remember, I'll try to put it in there, but it's beautiful. It looks really, really good. And I came out last night and planted that, and it was after 7 o'clock before I finally got inside, but that's okay. That's okay. I transplanted some mint around this tree last year, and I thought every year I would try to get a little bit more. And just keep putting it around it. It hasn't taken off terribly well, but it did come back up. It did come back up. So, and we'll go out here. This is the wagon bed out here. Oh, I'll stop and show you this. This is my black currants. I have not got out here to weed, so you'll just have to ignore the weeds. But so I have all but one. They are blooming, so we will have black currants this year. And this one right here is the only one that did not come back, but it'll be okay. I've got plenty of other ones, so I'll fill it all in. We'll head out there next. Here's a view down the front of the property where all the red buds are blooming. I just pruned them off last night and they look really, really pretty. I had a few branches that were blooming that I actually got to take inside, which is such a nice little touch of spring inside. This is the last little bit of daffodils here in the wagon bed. I love how this looks in the spring. The roses have not been trimmed off. We got everything in the garden done, and it wasn't until I was all the way done and stopped I thought, oh no, I forgot to do this bed. So this bed will be next. But this spring, the little addition is the 2 forsythias that I have planted at the very back. So that should be amazing. There is echinacea, purple coneflowers here and there in the mist also. I'd like to get some hollyhocks started out here also. I just feel like they would just fit the look of this so much. This is my dahlias will all go here. I'm afraid I probably have more dahlias than I have room, but yeah. Oh, and the most important thing, at the end of every one of these, there's one there, one there, one there, and one there. They are climbing rainbows in. It's a miniature climbing rainbows end. And it's one of my favorites. And it's kind of a funny story. When we moved, it was one of them. I moved everything from our last place to here, everything. And it's one of them that did not make it. It did not take the move, and it died. And I thought, and I spent the next 3 years just scouring the internet trying to find a replacement. But the place I bought it from went out of business. So finally this year, it's been 5 years. Last fall, I found somebody who had one, and I messaged her on Facebook, and gardeners are they're the nicest people ever. And she sent me some cuttings, and I rooted them, and I have 4, and we'll come off of this one, and there'll be a post, and there'll just be a big fence along here, and so this whole side will be nothing but those climbing roses. It will be beautiful. I can see it in my mind. Here's my first batch of alums that are going to bloom. The other ones are poking their heads up, but these are actually, the heads are starting to open. So that's exciting. And here's the 2. This one was a cutting off of my mother's rose bush that I got her for Mother's Day. She graciously let me take a cutting off of it because there was one branch that was just wild, and she was going to cut it off anyway. And I got a couple of rose bushes from it. So, and then this is one of the other ones. It's a deep red. I don't know why I can't think of the names of these roses, but I know what they are. So there's roses. There's 3 of them along here and 3 of them along here, and then at the end, that is a Crown Princess Margareta. And I need another one on this side, but it gets a little bit of shade, so I need to do some research and make sure that whatever I plant there can take a little bit of shade. And the Bleeding Hearts look beautiful, and the Solomon Seal are coming up. I planned on moving them, but it didn't happen, so they're going to be here again this year. And I got 2 new hostas. This one isn't just thriving really well. It didn't look too good when I got it, but it's curly fries. I'm hoping it comes out of it because it was just so cute. And this one is humpback whale. I'm thinking that sounds right. But it gets like 4 feet by 4 feet. It should be just huge. And the foxgloves that I started last year should bloom this year. It should be really, really pretty. And some astable in there. I love astable. I just don't have a great amount of luck with it, so I'm hoping that those do good. The blueberries are blooming. That's just amazing. And the garlic, it's not bad looking. I planted 2 different varieties. I started, you can really see the spinach from here. It looks, with this behind the sun like this, it looks really, you can really see it. We live in the very center of the country, and so there's hard neck and there's soft neck, and one of them is for the north and one of them is for the south, and basically I'm right in the middle. So I actually got one of each, hoping to do a trial to see which one would do better here. And not a single one of the ones I planted up there. I honestly can't remember where I planted. I know it's written down, but I don't know off the top of my head which one is which. But these came up really good, and the ones that I planted up there in that corner, not a single one came up. So yeah, I have some failures in that rose bush. It's beautiful. And last fall, this one is a white climbing rose bush, and I actually took, there wasn't very many to take cuttings from last year. I just planted it and I didn't want to take too much off, but I did manage to get a couple of cuttings just so that I could put one over here. I'm kind of worried there will be 2 poles that mirror these 2, and they will come up and it will go across. So we'll just have to be careful when we dig those holes. See, all these looms are starting to, you can see the heads there, and I'm so excited because most of them have more than one. They have quite a few blooms on them, so it should be really, really pretty. You're gonna have to forgive the smoke. I've got the burn ring going. And the grapes, this one is absolutely spectacular. It's just, the leaves, it's just beautiful. But they're all coming out of it. They're starting to leaf out. I planted some in between also, because there's places on these poles to make wires go across. So there will be, and there's one down here too. So there will be some that go across, that grow across here, and then the ones on all 6 corners will go up and over. I'm gonna smell like a burnt marshmallow when I go in. And this is what I've really, really been working on. But there is one rose bush here and one here, and it's a very, I moved it, and it's one of 2 different names, and I'm afraid I'll have to wait till it blooms and kind of see if I can figure out what it is. But it's a light pink and it's huge and it just smells amazing. And then there's one of the other roses that I just got. But I have been working on this right here. The gravel will come all the way out. I have a lot of bricks, but they go fast. But I'd like to do this in brick, and I would like to continue it on. And there'll be brick along this pathway. But there'll be a burn ring right in the middle the burn ring, it won't be where this one is burning right now. I'm just trying to burn a stump out. It's where this one will be. So it's in the very center. And then we'll have swings and benches around it. And there'll be a path that goes to the greenhouse and then over to here and then back to the house and over to the front. So yeah, it's a lot of bricks to put out, but I'm kind of laid them out. All the rocks have been moved except the ones on the outside, of course, but I love the way it looks. I absolutely love the way it looks. It looks very clean, and I like the bricks edging it better than the rocks in this instance. I love the rocks. It's kind of a cottagey kind of look, but I think they're going to be delegated to the rock wall, and that is one of those. It's in the 5-year plan. But there are actually things blooming in the greenhouse, which is exciting for me because I haven't had a whole lot of luck with starting annuals and having them bloom this early. These were bought and we went to a greenhouse. But everything's drippy. You can tell it got watered. But I started petunias. Yeah, they're soaking wet, but it's a burgundy and it's a cascading one. And the yellow one, I started some yellow ones. So, and all the dahlias that I started they're starting to put heads, and the marigolds and pink zinnias. So, and if you can tell, I did get a few things planted, and then a few things got moved to the floor because they were getting too much sun. So, oh, trash bag, I need to get out of here. So everything just got watered. It's kind of drippy, but I love this. I'll have to find a pot to put them in, all the special ones that I don't really want to lose. Well, last night I did so much that I didn't even get inside until after 7 o'clock. So tonight I'm going to shut off just a little early and make sure I'm inside a little bit earlier. So, well, it was fun, and I hope you come back next week. If you enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks!